dust off the moon. Go yawn and prolong what you got to do. And if you've been going through any negative phase, well, here's your opportunity for turning the page. Today's a new chapter. Write your plot and make it end with the win. Give it all you got. But first you gotta rise, look alert and alive. Get the dirt from your eyes and work for the prize. It's on, cause we ain't even trying to lose. Let's go, man, don't hit snooze. It's time to wake up. 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 Tick tock, tick, come on. Tick tock, tick, let's go. Tick tock, tick, come on. Tick tock, tick. You can't wait around for someone's approval. Now is the moment to begin your renewal, man. Feel alive with the vibe, energized of the folks who you're coming by the white in your eyes. Hey, another day might waste away. Come on, let's get it going, don't make delays. So ring the alarm and lift your arm high. Like Georgia, we get a piece of the pie. Begin it with the step, you'll get in it in a sec. You'll be winning like you never did it when you overslept. So right this minute, get right with it. What time is it?
Good morning. This is the regular meeting of the Birmingham City Council. Today is Tuesday, July 16th. This morning, our invocation will be delivered by Minister Gawanika Maddox of Mount Moriah Baptist Church of North Pratt, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilor Valerie Abbott. If you're willing and able, please stand.
Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, we come this morning in the mighty name of Jesus, giving you thanks, Lord God, for this day. Holy Spirit of the living God, we invite you in right now, asking that you would take full control of this meeting. Father God, we come this morning in the name of Jesus, lifting up our mayor, Randall Wolfham, and all those that work under his leadership. We ask, Lord God, that you will lead, guide, and direct him, Lord God, in the way that you would have him to go as he leads your people. Lord God, we ask now that you would have your way in this meeting. We pray, Father God, that this meeting will be peaceful and that it will be productive and that it will be fruitful to your people, Lord God. Bless now, Lord God, each person under the sound of my voice. For it's in the precious name of Jesus the Christ that we do pray. Amen and thank God.
Amen. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Mr. Clerk. Will you please have the roll call?
Councilmember Abbott. Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Moore. Good morning, sir. Councilmember Smitherman. Good morning. Good morning. Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Williams. Good morning. Councilmember Woods. Good morning. Good morning. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Good morning. Council President O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Council, the minutes are not ready for the June 4th, 2024 through July 9th, 2024 meetings. At this time, we'll have communications from Mayor Woodfin.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning to the council, and good morning to the public. Over this past weekend, unfortunately, a lot of our community members were shot and killed, and many others wounded. Our Kyria Berry, Landon Brooks, LaRondis Anderson, Markeisha Gettings, Angela Witherspoon, Stephen McGee. And as I continue to make calls to those assaulted but will survive, I'm withholding their names for now. So today I don't want to talk about thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. Today I don't want to talk about prevention efforts or reentry efforts. Counselor Tate, we can do that another day. Today I want to talk about enforcement. I want to start with the investigation of these two heinous crimes that happened Saturday. One being a triple homicide, the other being a quadruple and 10 others shot. The Birmingham Police Department, along with our federal partners, as I've stated and will continue to restate, related to what happened Saturday, have one priority. And that is to literally and physically hunt down the people responsible and bring them to justice for these heinous acts. As I've also stated, that the victims I've named and the victims that I did not name deserve swift justice. I think what's happened in Birmingham, Alabama is that, unfortunately, there's a culture that's embedded of just not talking. That's beyond no snitching. Snitching is usually isolated to if you were part of the crime. But we unfortunately have people who are providing safe harbor to those who have committed these heinous acts. And so, as I've also stated, BPD's investigation is better off with credible information from citizens who actually have information to put us in the best position to find these suspects and bring them to justice. So, as I've stated, I want to continue to any public forum I have the opportunity to say it. All platforms I have the opportunity to say it. I want to encourage those in the community, if you have information that allows us to take people off the street who killed a 5-year-old, to take people off the street who shot and killed innocent people at a birthday party, please call 205-254-7777. Again, that is the number for Crime Stoppers. And just explaining how Crime Stoppers works, you don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your address. You don't have to give your phone number. You are allowed to remain anonymous. Again, Crime Stoppers number is 205-254-7777. I also want to acknowledge our first responders. Our first responders, that includes not just the police department, but our medics and firefighters are on the front lines. Some difficult moments they saw this weekend, some difficult things they saw in person. What they do every day is hard, but what they saw this weekend was different. The calls for help they addressed, I believe, came with serious emotional impact. That I've reached out to the chief of our police department as well as our fire chief to make sure the emotional support they need is given, or any additional resources they need. But I've also spoken with the next of kin and some family members of those shot and killed this weekend. Those are always tough calls. The pain in their voice, the tears, and in most cases, not even sure what to say. So for these victims, if you know or see one of their family members, please encourage and lift them up. But please encourage and lift up our firefighters and police officers and medical workers as well. That includes UAB, medical staff, as well as Princeton medical staff, as well as those who receive the calls first, our 911 dispatchers. I want to talk about a few more things, Mr. President and Council, and then I'll sit down. I want to first talk about proactive policing. We were given an additional tool earlier this year before the state legislative session closed. An exception as it relates to camera usage was created for us for exhibition driving. That and the combination of Operation Night Rider allowed us to literally decrease in our city exhibition driving. And it turns out that from that we got some residual and some other positive bumps, which included several, well over 80 felony arrests. In addition to that, we were in a position to take off illegal guns, which included a lot of them Glock switches, and able to make some federal indictments or soon to be federal indictments in federal cases. In addition to that, we were able to take off in a lot of illegal drugs, and the most important thing, it's going to sound small, but it's actually impactful because it goes to gun violence in our city. We were actually able to retrieve a significant amount of stolen cars. And so we've been able to track through proactive policing in this operation. Since it's been into effect, stolen cars have decreased, auto theft has decreased in our city. Well, what's the correlation here? We continue to see, whether it's shooting into occupied dwellings and or homicides, stolen vehicles are being used. So the police department has gotten very aggressive as it relates to auto shops, chop shops, car lots, car dealers, working with our citizens through technology and other forms of being intentional about making sure we're aggressive as it relates to stolen vehicles in our city, because we're seeing a correlation there with gun violence. The other thing is, in the second quarter of the year, which we'll announce at some point at the beginning of August, significant arrests related to some of our most wanted criminals in our city. Mayor's office is not taking credit for that. I give that credit to the police department, and as well as federal partnerships, again, that will be named probably in 2 to 3 weeks. And so then I come to this first month of this third quarter, which is July. And we had 5 homicides in the first 5 days of July, if you recall. And as I've stated, it's important to not characterize these homicides as stats and or numbers. These are people who are community residents who had families. There have been several arrests in those first 5. But as the police continue to investigate, gather facts, gather leads, and place suspects in 48-hour holds, I do want to reveal some of the preliminary information from those investigations related to those first 5. One of these homicides occurred over an active dice game. So, an actual dice game. The victim and suspect were actually playing against each other. One of these homicides occurred over an argument, like literally an argument. 2 men who know each other walking down the street, verbal altercation, they both pulled out guns. One of these homicides occurred in an apartment. I think both the suspect and the victim were together to conduct an illegal transaction. And one of these homicides occurred in the front yard, and it was captured on video, and another occurred as a result of the victim having multiple feuds with others. Several of these investigations are, actually all these investigations are ongoing, but there have been some credible leads as well as some arrests in some of those I've just described. I want to be clear on what I'm going to say, and I may repeat this multiple times as I stand before you, that we are not victim blaming at all. But to this council and to this public, our public, the residents we represent, Public Safety Chairwoman, to you, to the Chief of Police, we're compelled to ask hard questions. Questions such as, how do you police destructive behavior? How do you police interactions between people in closed spaces, i.e., in a house, in an apartment? People who decide to meet up literally 30 seconds apart at a park, so they came to meet, or any other public space, but doing things in vehicles. How can you predict when a homicide occurs between two people who know each other? These are serious questions. They're not meant to, in isolation, only to be thought-provoking, but we're challenging ourselves to find an answer to, even if we don't have an answer before you. I told you we wouldn't talk about prevention and reentry, so I'm not going to talk about de-escalation right now. But I do want to tell you that there have been some very, very intentional and aggressive conversations with our federal partners. ATF, which stands for Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, particularly on the firearms piece. There's some intentional conversations and with the DEA, which stands for Drug Enforcement Agency, as well as the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, as well as the IRS, as well as, believe it or not, Secret Service, U.S. Attorney's Office, as well as our partner across the park, the sheriff. And to bring it back to what I said, I want to talk about enforcement. We want to be very intentional. They have been very intentional. But from several calls with the White House, we will now elevate our intentionality through partnership with our federal partners to be extremely aggressive and come after every single thing. It doesn't matter if it's related to credit card scams, auto thefts, as I've stated, trafficking in guns, PPP loans and other forms of illegal activity. We're finding some threads where all of these things are attached to each other. Small things that escalate and turn to gun violence. But a question I asked the leadership of ATF and other federal partners yesterday is the following, because it's related to drugs. It's related to drugs. I am comfortable having this public conversation with you because the public needs to know. What happens, or how do you prevent? Maybe that's the framing of the question. A person in this community is fronted a key of drugs, kilo. A person steals from a drug dealer. A person robs a drug dealer. A person borrows money from someone in the illegal activity space and refuses to or fails to pay them back. That information is not readily shared with the Birmingham Police Department. So, the leadership of some of those federal alphabets and agencies were very honest. If we had an answer to that, we would probably be in main justice. If BPD had an answer to that, things would be different. If the 9 of you on 10 of us, if we had an answer to that, it would be different. So, Mr. President and Council, I've spoken with our legal department, I've spoken with our police department, and I've spoken with our federal partners. And what we got to do is turn the heat up on everybody. Everybody gets attention. So to our residents of the city of Birmingham, if you are aware of a house on your block, in your street, in your neighborhood, in your community, that you know is a drug house, that people walk up to purchase, drive up to purchase, and drive off, I have a number for you to also call, which is separate from Crime Stoppers, that you just need to give the pertinent information related to that house. 205-254-6450. Again, that phone number is 205-254-6450. And we were turning heat up on that house two ways. Criminal action related to support and resources from our federal partners, because we're comfortable at this point needing to make federal indictments to sit these people down because they don't give a damn about our community. And in my right hand, also additional tool of civil action, meaning we go after the homeowner or renter up to a $50,000 fine on the civil side, separate from the criminal side, according to this information I received from Ms. King. Thank you for that. As well as being in a position to shut that house down for being a public nuisance or a drugs nuisance. Do not be afraid to call that number. Please share that information with us, so through federal partnerships, we can turn the heat up on everybody. But I also want to say this, because we got a jobs plan. We offer people employment opportunity, not just the city hall, but workforce opportunity is something we always talk about. But we got a small portion of our population who don't want to work, who want to be in the streets because they just want to be in the streets. What I want to say is what I've said yesterday, but it's worth saying again publicly, which is this. For that subset of people who we will give a lot of attention to, again, through BPD, active, proactive enforcement and policing, as well as through partnership with our federal agencies for additional tools and resources to bring federal indictments to these people. I want to implore the people they're dating, their family members, their significant others, their children, and whoever else you want to insert into a category I failed to mention, that for that subset of people who clearly don't, who also probably don't give a damn about you either, is to not ride with them, to not be in the car with them, to not go with them to make a play or a lick or whatever it is. Because people are not protecting women and children in this community like they're supposed to. It is not safe. And the lifestyle you think you may be getting from whoever this person is in the drug activity, whether it's money or clothes or paying your bills or providing your children with clothes and shoes, it's not worth it. So, Mr. President and Council, that brings me to one last point. We received a lot of criticism this weekend. What is the mayor's office doing to stop gun violence? What is the police doing to stop gun violence? We're doing a lot, and we'll continue to amplify what we're doing. And I want to say this, Mr. President and Council, because I genuinely mean it. And maybe I just have to start showing the receipts more. There is more good in this community than it is bad. There is more positive in this community than it is negative. There is more hope in this community than it is despair. And there are more things that are happening that to improve the quality of life in this city versus some of the other things. But gun violence continues to rear its head in our community in a way that locally we don't have control. I told somebody yesterday, Mr. President and Council, I'm not Batman. The police aren't Batman. We don't put guns in people's hands, and it turns out by law we're not allowed to take them out of their hand either. So I want to repeat that last part, by law, by state law, because we don't have local control. We're not allowed to control guns. So, I got an officer here who I want to come up, Officer James Skinner, because I want to show you the type of guns that are on our streets. I got Mr. President and Council, this is very heavy. What is this? What is this?
AR.
This is an AR-15. Now, while I'm holding this gun, Mr. President and Council, I want to publicly go on the record and state I support our Constitution. I believe in the Second Amendment rights. I do. I'm looking at each of you. So I don't want anybody to come back with no BS talking about the mayor want to take people guns and don't believe in the Second Amendment. I'm telling you, I do. At the same time, I'm also telling you as a community member and as a leader in the community, as Americans, we can strike a balance and have common sense gun laws that prevent the carnage from happening, not just in Birmingham, but across our nation. This feels and looks like a military-style weapon to me. Tell me, does it belong on our domestic streets? If you want to defend your home, I'm cool with that. But tell me, should people be driving around with these? Because that's what they're doing. You see, we had an opportunity for years, Mr. President and Council. We had an opportunity for years to be in a position to aggressively go after those. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Mr. President, Council, I apologize. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Mr. President and Council, for years, we had an opportunity in the toolbox of addressing gun violence for those who didn't need guns because their behavior, going around, discharging, shooting into an occupied dwelling, shooting into another occupied vehicle, shooting criminal behavior, criminal activity. If they didn't have a pistol permit, we were able to take and remove that gun from them. Turns out, in Birmingham, Alabama, in every other city in the state of Alabama, in all 67 counties. Let me see that Draco. No. Fingers not on the trigger, everybody. Nowhere near it. You can drive around with this mini Draco, you don't need a pistol permit. Now, I am not here to deflect. This is a nonpartisan conversation. I have no desire, wishes, urges to get into a fight with the state elected officials. That's not my point. My point is that we have a public health crisis related to gun violence as an epidemic in our community, and we don't have local control to make unilateral decisions to be more aggressive, to outlaw these type of guns that people are riding around in, not to protect their home, right? Which is not to protect their home, not to protect their body, but to literally carnage on our streets, hurting our community members, affecting our community. I wanted Officer James Skinner to tell you, because that type of guns, those type of guns, by the way, are not guns people hunt with. They're not hunting animals. They're being used to hunt down humans. That's not right. But I wanted Officer James Skinner to tell you the type of bullets that are used and the type of damage these bullets cause.
So the micro Draco uses a 7.62, and then the ARs are all 223s. That's the same caliber weapon that I had the honor to serve in the Marine Corps in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's the same caliber ammo we use over there. So I've seen it stop people. I've seen people be able to move after they get hit with it, but in the right hands, that's a death machine. That's all it is.
These guns are in the wrong hands, and our tools are limited to be able to take them out of their hands. So I implore the federal government to ban assault military-style weapons on our domestic streets, and here's why. We have history, receipts, and proof on our hand that in the decade that these type of guns were illegal to obtain, that were literally illegal and banned on our domestic streets, it was the lowest decrease in gun violence in the city of Birmingham's history. We also have the receipts to show after this ban was removed and these guns were allowed to be on our city streets, the trajectory of gun violence did this. Common sense. Common sense. That's a lot of what I said. Again, my heart goes out to these victims and their families. But thoughts and prayers aren't enough. So on the policing side, you're going to continue to see us get aggressive. And it turns out we got a lot of federal partners who are going to turn up the heat on everything, not just drugs, but the scammers. You're not paying your taxes. We're coming after you with every tool we have. If we can't get the guns, we're going to come after every other way we can attach to you. The affiliations, the relationships. We're going to do it all. And we, as in Birmingham Police, in partnership with the federal partners, to turn up all the heat on folk who don't want to sit down and clearly don't know how to just make money, right? That's not what they're doing. So, Mr. President and Council, I know that was a lot. Those two numbers are probably the most important things I said, to dial those numbers. You got information on who's hurting people? Dial Crime Stoppers. You got information on the drug house or illegal activity? Dial that other number. Last point. I mentioned earlier that the blame accountability is laid at the feet of the mayor and the police. I want you to know I don't duck from it, I don't run from it, I take it. It's heavy as hell. All right, I want to be frank with you, it's heavy. But it should be heavy for all of us because we're all community members. A lot of folk out here know what's happening and just got their head down. Won't come off the information but know it. We can take a lot of criminals off the street if everybody understands how accountability works. And the accountability is not the mayor's office or the police department alone. We are co-accountability partners in the collective of all community members stepping up to say enough is enough. Not where they at, here's another roadblock. Not thoughts and prayers and emojis of prayer hands. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about actually remaining anonymous but coming off credible information so we can actually make arrests and indictments and sit these folk down. We can do that with the community's help. Mr. President and Council, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Woodfin. Councilor Smithman.
Mayor Woodfin, I really want to thank you for that. That was very informative. I think that helps us all a lot for having the game plan for addressing safety because, I don't believe in over-policing. We've got to find ways to get these people right. Because before we could stop somebody and see if they had, a gun permit, but we can't do that anymore. So we know usually most people, if they're true criminals, not people who get, prosecuted, convicted innocently, because of the justice system, true criminals, they're not going to just stop at gun violence or doing drugs. They're thinking, hey, I got away with it one time. What else can I get away with it? And you are right. That is very hard to police what goes on in homes. And we have to have accountability, and it starts, we've done the conflict resolution program, but at home with these kids, I heard somebody was telling me down the juvenile center, there need to be a training for parents who have kids that have been locked up because they don't know how to communicate with them. They don't know how to train them once they've been locked up. And I think that's something, I would like to partner with Council Tate and anybody else to figure out how to do it. I really, I know we're all busy, the 10 of us. All 10 of us have got to go down there when the Senate gets back in session. They need to see those guns. They need to see the stats. And I even want to, if people will let us who have lost people, I want videos. I want them to see these are actual people who are getting hurt by your decisions. See, they think, oh, I don't live in Birmingham, or oh, I live in my suburban city, it doesn't affect me, and it does. Something, and even when we go to these federal partners, I don't care if it's Tommy Tuberville, but something has got to go. I don't care about political parties. Something has got to change. It's got to change. It's not just here. It's Chicago, it's Houston, it's everywhere. Even with President Trump, he's not my favorite person in the world, even though I don't know him, but him getting shot. You know, I would never wish ill on somebody, but that's ridiculous as well. You know, you feel that comfortable to shoot the former president of the United States, which means that come back on all of us as political representatives. It's violence on political figures as well. And I really appreciate you because, you know, Councilor Terry and I were talking Sunday, and people think we don't care. All of us are on the phone every day, once a week, talking to each other. You know, we don't have the privilege as politicians to really show emotion. Let's be real now. Like, all 10 of us can say that we show any inch of emotion. It's more like, oh, they can't control it. Because honestly, if you ask us how all we feel, we probably would start crying. We probably want to throw papers. We probably want to cuss people out. But I want you to know, y'all, when we go home at night and talk to our family, we are sad. I'm sad. That really made me sad over the weekend. People ask me, how do you feel? I don't know. How am I supposed to feel? I feel helpless. So I want y'all to know we're going to try everything what you do, but y'all have got to help us. It's not just on us. It's not just on y'all. It has to be a collective thing we have to do. And lastly, sorry, Mr. President, I would love to go, Councilor Tate, with the OOA, the offenders. I may said the initials wrong. I want to talk to these people and see, how did you get to this point? What happened? What kind of support you could have needed that allowed you not to have committed this felony again? And most of the times, as an attorney, when I talk to people and they've done this again, it's because they did not have the resources, because they got out of jail, they couldn't get a job, they couldn't find housing, and they did the crime all over again. So I would like to do that, but I would personally want to thank you for stepping up, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Councilor Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to echo what Councilor Smitherman said, and really, and Mayor, thank you for bringing that AR style and that Draco to really show people what is really on these streets of Birmingham, because I have seen with my own eyes. But I really want to make sure that I echo this. I live in North Birmingham, and I wake up and I see this tragedy happen in a place that I know I've had conversation with, and I see my neighborhood president here and the secretary. We've had many conversations, and Mr. Coleman will stand and bear witness. I ride North Birmingham every day, every community. This phone right here, I had to get more storage because of the pictures and the things that I see go on. But I want to send a message to these business owners that come into these neighborhoods and do not want to comply with laws of this state and ordinances of this city. And you want to come in these neighborhoods and rent your place out because all you care about is $1. People that were shot, I know some of those people. Grew up with those people, but I'd be damned if we gonna continue to let you who do not want to follow rules come into these neighborhoods and think you gonna do what you want to do. It is not gonna happen, not on my watch, and I will hope my colleagues feel the same way. Community means just what it says, community. You can't police your way out of this, and you cannot legislate your way out of this. And I'm just like the mayor. I believe in the Constitution. I believe people should be able to bear arms, because I have a firearm, but I'm a reasonable and a sensitive firearm carrier. I don't take my gun around, ride around and shooting at people because a shooter hit their target. And we sick of this. And for people to get on the news and say, we don't care, I beg the difference. Y'all don't know what we go through. Who lifting us up? Who praying for us? And quit pushing that narrative. and to the media, quit pushing these false narratives, because we do care. You're not going to continue to tell me that I don't care, because I do. And as Councilor Smitherman said, load up and go to Montgomery when the session starts. Start now. They out of session. We ain't the only legislators, the body here. You got state representatives. If you don't know what to say, stop saying something. And quit saying people don't care, because we care. And I'm going to continue to stand on the business for the people. Because I know what I do. I know how I engage the office of the city attorney. I know how I engage my president. And I know how I engage these bad business owners. You want to come in Birmingham, open up an illegal club, and you think we going to let you get away with that? No. So I'm challenging everybody up here, the revenue department, everybody. Put the revenue examiners back in the community. Knock on these doors and see who got a license. If you don't have a license, chain it up. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Tate. Pro Tem Alexander, you had a question?
Yes, thank you very much. I want to thank you, Mayor Whitman, for just sharing the information with us this morning, guiding us on the game plan. And also I want to thank our first responders. I read some of their comments on social media, and they were truly shaken by what they went through and what they witnessed. And I think sometimes we don't stop and think about our first responders, our police officers, our firemen, our paramedics, just those that go out in comfort and have to, they're the first to witness that type of carnage that was shown this weekend. And I do appreciate you giving us the game plan and telling us a little bit more about what is happening in some of these cases. I want to thank my colleagues, Councilor Smitherman and Councilor Tate, for their passion and their response this morning of also helping us. I think they've laid out some great things that we can do, not only as legislators, but as citizens. This impacts all of us. I did just want to ask a more technical question, though. Mayor Whitman, thanks. I'm glad to see the partnership that's being developed from a federal level as well. With this number, 205-254-6450, how does that intersect with our DNAT program? We do have citizens that often give us this type of information that's going through DNAT. Will we be sharing that information with them, or should they continue to go to both sources? Because our citizens often know where this is happening in our communities, and I just wanted to see how they intersect.
Well, I'll start us off. Yes, that ties directly into DNAT. DNAT stands for Drug Nuisance Abatement Team. So that second number, not the Crime Stoppers number, but the number Ms. King will share with you. She will reiterate that number in a minute, as well as provide some additional context to your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so due to the increase of calls, and we just want to thank the citizens for really being active and really reaching out to us, we have our own designated line. So this is one specific person. Their information will be anonymous, and so we can more heavily monitor what is coming into our office. So that's 205-254-6450, or you can still email us at problemproperty@birminghamal.gov.
Yes. So I'll add a couple of brief thoughts here. Recognizing that everything that my colleagues have already said, one of the things that definitely you realize when you get into elected office is that, the elected officials can't do everything, and building community and growing a city and assuring that, our community is one that we want to raise our families in, is up to all of us, you know? And I think, you know, of course, if you're listening to this, likely I'm talking to the choir. But hopefully this message can trickle out to the folks that need to hear it. I mean, ask yourself, you know, what kind of community do you want to live in? What kind of community do you want your children to live in? What kind of community do you want businesses to thrive in? What kind of community do we want those businesses to be growing so that we have ample opportunities for employment for future generations? That's the impact of this. And I think we all have responsibility individually as members of a community to affect this situation. It's being a citizen is not just an observer activity. You are a participant, whether you choose to be active or not. You're a part of the problem or a part of the solution, regardless of your level of activity. So you're either working for good or you're working for something else. There is no middle option. So choose what side you're going to be on. Thank you. Councilor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your comments and, you know, the information that you gave. One of the things that stood out to me is that you talked about the stolen cars, which is a huge issue. And I'm glad that, you know, that's also something that's being looked at and coupled with this issue. We've had several shootings that have taken place, and we got cameras up, right? We can actually see the car. We can see, you know, the activity that's taking place. But because these cars are stolen, they may be registered to somebody else, it still leads to a dead end, right? And so I'm glad that that's something that's being looked into, because we need to find a way to really find these folks. I'm also, you know, just encouraged by my colleagues and just the words that they've shared, because a lot of people don't know how this impacts us. You know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, we take this information home just like you all, and more so than anything, we probably get bombarded with it more than anybody, because we have to know. We have to know what's going on in these streets. And so, but I would encourage people to step outside of their bubbles. Step outside of your bubble. And what I mean by that is, I think that there's a to each his own mentality, right? You see the family next door or the neighbor next door that, you know, has the kids that's just running around outside. Ain't nobody looking after them, you know, and you feel like, hey, that's their problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. But the law of vision says that if I can't see it, I can't have it. If I can't see it, I can't have it. Somebody is looking to you to be that example, because obviously they don't have it at home, right? And so we have to take on that responsibility. And it's not something that you may want to do, but we live in a community with people. And a large part of that word community is unity. We have to be unified. You have to look out for the person that's next to you, and truly be a neighbor. Truly be a neighbor. And so I would just encourage everybody, man. Obviously, I'm not asking you to put yourself in harm's way, but I am telling you to stand up. I am telling you not to be afraid, to be an example, to be a light, to be an inspiration, and to engage those who are next to you, because you never know. Because you spoke to them, because you engaged them, they may be able to, you know, find a new way of doing things, or a new way, or just find you as a safe space to share information. with. And so I would just encourage everybody to step up. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Councilor Clark?
I too want to commend the mayor for laying out a plan and sharing it with us. And, you know, I feel like the help of all those federal agencies can really make a difference. I've seen it firsthand when we would get those DOJ grants to do the weed and seed initiatives. And, I mean, it would literally clean up an area. I'm sure the crime shifted somewhere else for a time, and then it came back when the grant ended. But you know, it did a lot of good. I mean, some of the good that it did not come back because the people were gone. So I know those have been funded through federal grants. I'm not really sure how we're going to, you know, work it out to get the help from these agencies, but I know that with all those layers of enforcement, supporting our police officers and helping us to have a greater impact, I know that we can. I feel like, you know, we really can. The one you didn't mention was the U.S. Marshals, and they're probably on the list.
Meeting August 1st.
Me-
The meeting's already set for August 1st.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of hope, and I hope that, you know, that gives everyone some hope. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Woods?
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess one, I want to thank the mayor just for kind of laying out that plan. I'm in agreement. I think we have to be more aggressive. We have to be more aggressive with our enforcement. I think we have to really think about what kind of community we want to have, and the people that are working against that. If they're violating the law, we have to address that. And so I'm in support of that. I'm happy to see that outline kind of laid out. I think, you know, we see these things all the time, and we can't allow it to be what we see as the norm. And so every time you see a headline, man, it's so much behind it. Like, that ripples out. You know, there's so many people that have to, you know, figure out how to go forward after that happens, after every single incident. You know, when my phone rings, it's like you're not even sure what you're about to hear half the time. And so, you know, I got calls from a lot of residents that were angry, scared, sad, and you have all these conversations. I do want to thank you for physically going out in the neighborhood and talking to residents. I think that means a lot, but you know, it ripples. I mean, I am unique because I actually serve in the council district that I actually grew up in. And so what that means is, like, my kids are literally growing up in the same neighborhoods I grew up in. And so it is different. You know, it is different. You know, you have to explain to a kid, you know, what a gunshot is. Like, why are they hearing that? You know, and this weekend was especially difficult because we get, you know, you kind of get one tragedy after another. You're trying to process this, talk to residents about this, figure out next steps after one thing, and then you hear something a few hours later that's crazy, and then literally wake up on Saturday morning, and my wife is kind of freaking out, and I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out, all right, what's going on? And, you know, a kid gets killed is actually in my child's class. And so, you know, those are conversations that you're having with 5 and 6 year olds that nobody should have to have. And so you're looking at, and I think a lot of us, you know, we're leaders in the community, parents, realistically or not, you want to be in a position to try to shield certain things from your kids. And it's frustrating, it's sad, it's tough to have to deal with that. You know, part of being in elected office, especially in Birmingham, you're going, you know, people going to throw rocks at you, so I'm not, you know, worried about that. I signed up for it, and so that's part of it. But we got to figure out the solutions. You know, I've always been one that, you know, I don't almost err on the side of not being heavy-handed. But, you know, we're in a position now where this can't be the norm. And so we have to shift gears. And if that means being aggressive, if that means, you know, we may not know specifically who did what crime, but we know who's out here doing things. And so being in a posture to go after that, to not accept these things, to really get in the weeds with the people that are doing these things, because it all ripples and it may not, you know, it's kind of one of those things that right now is very unique, that all of these crimes are between people that know each other. I think the mayor laid out pretty well, like, you know, these are not random things. But what if that changes? You know, what if that shifts? I think we have to move right now and follow that path that the mayor's laying out and be more aggressive with our enforcement. Pull in everybody that's willing to help, because the type of firepower, you know, people are out here on the streets with is equal or better than law enforcement in some cases. And so we have to use all the tools we have to go after these folks and get them off the street, man. If you're going to get a minimum 10-year charge, I mean, that's what you're going to get. And so it's important to, at the same time we're doing that, to really encourage the community to, if you got family members that's out here doing these things, if you got people with guns that shouldn't have them, talk to them, you know, because we're not interested in putting folks in jail for life, but, you know, we're also not interested in innocent community members being killed, kids not showing up for school anymore, church members not showing up for church anymore. You know, you should be able to go to a birthday party, celebrate a milestone, without really having certain considerations. And so this was a interesting weekend as a community, man, because I just saw, like, all of this stuff affected everybody. And so everybody had different viewpoints, from first responders that literally have to go firsthand and look at this carnage and the fallout of it. And then you look at the other end of the spectrum, and then there's people that's willing to hide people, get rid of evidence, help you get out of, you know, like all of these things, and it doesn't gel with what we want to see in a community. And I think you're on the right track and willing to support however I can. So thank you.
Okay. All right. At this time, we are going to, without objection, suspend the rules for a presentation from Pro Tem Alexander.
Good morning. To my council colleagues, Mayor Woodfin, I'd like to ask Linda Allen, Larry Allen, and anyone they brought with them this morning, if they'd come and join me at the podium. While they're on their way to join us, we know that our goal as a legislative body is to shine a light on those outstanding individuals whose actions have served to highlight. We've talked about some really deep things this morning about Birmingham, but in Birmingham, we do have a wondrous flavor, and cultural richness that is great in our city. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to remind the city of these two visionaries and celebrate what they've done for us. Now, in 1991, Linda Allen and Larry Allen conceived of what was then a relatively foreign idea. Now, I know a few of you may not have been born at that time, but you have to, a couple of my colleagues, I don't think so. But we do want to be reminded of what they've done to bring an African-American cultural and musical festival. They thought of how bringing this to us would bring entertainment and education to the public, also while providing business with a viable marketing vehicle. From this brainchild, the Birmingham Heritage Festival was born. Linda and Larry, their brave undertaking became the blueprint for many new and aspiring festivals today. Nominated for the Alabama Tourism Hall of Fame, the Birmingham Heritage Festival produced a world-class event that topped the Alabama Bureau of Tourism and Travel's top 10 list. Based on research in 2000, the Birmingham Heritage Festival, held in Birmingham's historic Civil Rights District, was deemed the largest African-American owned and operated festival. They've used that platform for many years to display local and national talent, fashion, art, food, and music. They also used many different genres of music: gospel, rhythm and blues, hip-hop, reggae. We just had a good old time. And I want to thank them and thank both of you for what you've done for our city. So today, if you all would join me, councilors, I would like to bring a resolution forward to honor the works of Linda Allen and Larry Allen for the work they've done and the immense cultural impact they've brought to our city.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now the resolution.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Birmingham, with Mayor Randall Woodfin concurring, pauses in these deliberations to honor and thank Linda Allen and Larry Allen for the immense cultural impact that they have made in successfully showcasing to the world an event that was dedicated to the preservation and exploration of African American history. Thank you so much. Now, if we could just take a few moments and allow them to just talk a little bit about that vision, and we want to thank you. Thank you both. Go ahead,
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and to receive this award. When you think about the Heritage Festival, you think about the entertainment mostly, but it was an educational vehicle as well. We had a Miss Heritage pageant that gave away more scholarships than most corporations combined gave. We also did an educational component with the town hall meeting on AIDS, where we educated. And the only reason why I mention that is because not only did we try to perform and put on great entertainment, we tried to educate and be a part of the community. So I'm here today, and I want to thank you for this award, and also let you know that my daughter, Jasmine, is doing events as well, and she's following our lead and trying to do as much as possible in this community as well. So again, I want to thank you.
And I just want to say thank you for the recognition for doing something that we absolutely loved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
May I
Councilor
just
Clark.
quickly say a word that, you know, I'm old enough to remember the Heritage Festival, and I'm a jazz lover and just a lover of arts and culture, and I was really proud of the festival and just the way you all showed up in community, the style you represented, and, you know, you all always looked like celebrities wherever you were. And I always thought, not just a world-class festival, but just, you know, you made a style imprint on our city that, you know, I'm really happy to remember from those times. So thank you for your impact.
Councilor Moore, did you?
I wasn't going to say anything, but I do want to let you know I was born during that time, and that was probably one of the first Heritage Festivals, or one of the first festivals I ever had an opportunity to go to. Huh? She said 91. Yeah, I was born.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'll read our statement on the conduct of business. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. All items on the consent agenda will be announced by reading the item numbers only. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member or the mayor requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. Additionally, a citizen interested in addressing the council with respect to an item on the consent agenda designated for public hearing may request the item be removed from the consent agenda to hold the hearing on the item. Any items removed from the consent agenda will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. For remaining matters, all matters of permanent operation will be read and all public hearings will be announced. Mr. Clerk, at this time, can we please go through our consent agenda?
Okay. Consent agenda starts on page 2 with items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Page 3, we have items 6, 7, 8, and 9. On page 4, we have items 10, 11, 12, and 13 on consent. Page 5, we have items 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 on consent. And page 6, we have items 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 on consent. Page 7, items 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28 are on consent. Page 8, items 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33 are on consent. On page 9, items 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38 are on consent. Page 10, items 39, 40, 41, and 42 are on consent. And we conclude with items 43, 44, 45, 46, and 47 on page 11. So basically all the items on consent.
Okay. Do any members of the council wish to remove any of the consent agenda items from the agenda? Okay. We have several items marked as public hearing, items 1 through 9. Do any members of the public wish to remove one of those public hearing items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion on the, Councilor Clark. Councilor Clark has a question. Okay. Councilor Clark is asking to remove item 12 from the consent agenda. That is on page 4. Okay. Now we need a motion and a second.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
All right. Any
All in favor,
further
let it be known by saying aye.
Go ahead.
All opposed?
Aye.
All right. All right, the consent agenda passes. Mr. Clerk, I believe item 12 on page 4 is our...
Item 12, a resolution expressing the Birmingham City Council support and to stand united with a growing number of U.S. cities in an earnest plea for immediate cessation of hostilities encompassing all parties involved in the ongoing Israeli-Hamas conflict.
It's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Councilor Clark.
Mr. President, thank you. I just wanted to say that I'm really delighted that we could bring this resolution forward in support of some of our community members who find it really important that we make this gesture for peace. I personally stand for peace anywhere, anytime, every time. And I feel like, especially after this weekend, for us to make a stand for peace, world peace, local peace, any kind of peace that we can advocate for. I know that we all care about peace, and so I just wanted to highlight that we were doing this and not let it go unnoticed. Thank you.
Okay. Any additional discussion? All right. Mr. Clerk, we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
One abstention.
All right. That item is approved. Ms. Clark, are there any additional items or announcements?
No, sir.
Okay. At this time, we will have our council district announcements. Councilor Williams.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. For neighborhood meetings, Brown Springs will be having a conference call meeting Thursday, July the 18th at 6 p.m. South Eastlake will be meeting Monday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. in person at Eastlake United Methodist Church, and Crestwood South will also be meeting Monday, July 22nd at 6:30 at the Jewish Community Center. That is all I have. Oh, and economic development and tourism will be today at 11:30 regularly scheduled as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilor Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Sun Valley Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at East Pinson Valley Rec Center. That meeting is at 6:30 p.m. Encourage all residents to get out and participate. The Huffman Neighborhood Association will meet next Monday, July 22nd at 7 p.m. That meeting is at Huffman Baptist Church. And this Saturday, the Be Litter Free cleanups continue. That's going to be meeting at the Springville Road Library at 8 a.m. Again, that's Saturday, July 20th. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Oops, let me get myself together. Evergreen Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight at 5 p.m. at the Fountain Heights Recreational Center located at 1101 15th Avenue North. And that's 35204 East Thomas Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. Conference call. You can dial in by calling 776-982-3770. Passcode is 35204. South Pratt Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight, 6 p.m. at Lively Hope Baptist Church located at 905 Court T, 35214. Smithfield Estates Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight at 6:30 p.m. at the Daniel Payne Center located at 1500 Daniel Payne Drive, 35214. Inslee Neighborhood Meeting will be Thursday, July the 18th, 6 p.m. at the McAlpine Recreation Center located at 1115 Avenue F, 35218. Druid Hill Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Monday, July the 22nd, 6:30 at Protective Stadium, 2100 Richard Arrington Boulevard, 35203. The next public safety meeting will be held on Tuesday, July the 23rd at 1 p.m. Please submit agenda items by email Wednesday, July the 17th, no later than 12 noon to the following recipient: gregory.stanley@birminghamal.gov. Also, I want to extend my deepest condolences to the families and the loved ones affected by the tragic loss of 7 individuals in Birmingham that passed this weekend due to the senseless gun violence. Each precious life taken is a painful reminder of the urgent need for collective action to address the epidemic of gun violence in our communities. It is crucial that we come together as a society, transcending differences, to find comprehensive and effective solutions that prioritize the safety and well-being of all by fostering open dialogue, advocating for responsible gun ownership that the mayor mentioned during his briefing, and supporting initiatives aimed at preventing violence. We can work towards creating a safer and more compassionate society. Together, let's honor the memories of those we lost by actively contributing to prevention of tragedies. Stevie McGee, Markeisha Gettings, Angela Witherspoon, Lamrendis Anderson, Eric Ashley Jr., Arika Berry, and Little Landon Brooks. That's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Tate. Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you very much. These are announcements for District 7. Today, Tuesday, July 16th, the Green Acres neighborhood will meet at 6:30 p.m. We'll be meeting at the Lifting Christ Worship Center on Pineview Road in Green Acres. Bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled today for Raleigh. Tomorrow, bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled for Green Acres and East Brownsville. On Thursday, the Hillman and the Hillman Park, both of those neighborhood associations will meet together at 5 p.m. at Hopewell Baptist Church, and then the Germania Park Neighborhood Association will meet at 6 p.m. at South Park Baptist Church. Brush, trash, and brush pickup is scheduled for West Goldwire, Tarpley City, Industrial Center, and Garden Highlands on Thursday. On Friday, the pickup is scheduled for Grisella Heights. And then on Monday, the Southwest Framework Implementation Committee will meet at 5:30. Please look forward to any announcement. This meeting may have changed and been postponed to a later date, but we'll make that aware on our website. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Councilor Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 5 Point South neighborhood will meet in the South Hall of Highland United Methodist Church at 6 p.m. today. Woodland Park neighborhood will meet this Monday, July 22nd at Woodland Park Church of Christ at 6 p.m. The next Budget and Finance meeting will be on Monday, July 22nd at 3:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Submissions are due Wednesday, July 17th, so tomorrow by noon. Submissions received afternoon will be placed on the next Budget and Finance agenda. The Titusville Library will host a Senior Fit program sponsored by Navigate every Friday at 10:45 a.m. My parents and I had really the privilege to go by Mama and them. I know he just came by, and we had lunch, y'all. It was so good. That was probably the best macaroni and cheese I've had in a long time. But we went to the early service at the Rock, and so as we were leaving, more people were coming in, and he was like very appreciative. It was great customer service. So I'm really happy to have that soul food in District 6 near District 8. So make sure to support. I want to thank the mayor for a great town hall last week. We had amazing attendance. We were able to answer a lot of questions, get a lot of concerns out of the way. The most hilarious thing is this chicken ordinance. Y'all, there's a chicken ordinance in Titusville, so we're going to try to deal with that because I see roosters all the time on Green Springs. But I was very encouraged by that. And then we had a very successful July farmers market this past Saturday. I actually bought some collard greens because I had to tell people I knew how to cook them. And I cooked them on Sunday, and they were really good. You know, Councilor Alexander, when you wash greens, usually it takes you, it didn't take me that long to wash the greens. Actually, I was talking to Councilor Tate while I was cooking them. But, that was just going towards, make sure we have fresh produce for our residents as well. And then I attended the Chris Brown concert. That was so amazing. And I mentioned that not because I love Chris Brown, but I was very happy to see that we're getting big name acts again and that Birmingham was coming out to support. And that's how we can continue to have our favorite artists coming here by packing it out, selling it out, and make sure we support our games and events, and even the airport, as Council Moore says, locally. So thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. So much. Planning and Zoning will meet on July 24th at 3:30. That's our next meeting date. We still have 2 openings on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, one for a construction type contractor and one for a supernumerary. The deadline for submittal is July 17th, which is tomorrow. The short-term rental ordinance public hearing is tonight at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. I quite expect it to be full. The 5 Point South neighborhood meeting has been changed. It will not be tonight. It will be on July 30th at 6 p.m. in the Highlands United Methodist meeting room on the first floor due to several conflicts, including the one on the short-term rental ordinance public hearing. The Birmingham Historical Commission will meet on Friday at 2 o'clock. The Magic City Wellness Center groundbreaking was held on this past week, and that is very exciting for folks in the Highland Park neighborhood because it is going to be a very much needed center for health and wellness for the LGBTQ community, but also for the Highland Park neighborhood. That facility, the building, the vacant building, had been an item of concern for the neighbors. So it's good to hear now that there will be a high quality occupant of that building and that it will be renovated. So They had a great turnout for the groundbreaking, and there's a lot of excitement. So that is all for me, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we have the South Woodlawn Neighborhood Association meeting that will be meeting at Woodlawn Library at 6 p.m. Pine Nose Vista, East Birmingham will be meeting next Monday at the Shield Center at 6 p.m. And Kingston will also be meeting next Monday at the Royal Event Center at 6 p.m. This Thursday at 6 p.m., we will also have the mayor and I will be hosting the D4 Town Hall at Woodlawn High School. So looking forward to everybody coming out to that. This Saturday, we will be hosting the second annual Art of the Cookout in partnership with the Brothers of Omega Psi Phi at the WC Patton Park, starting at 10 a.m., teaching young men how to grill. It's going to be a great event. We got archery tag that will be out there, a lot of different competitive activities. So in addition to learning how to grill, we're also trying to see how many accolades you can win, along with honoring some of the heroes in our community as well. And so really looking forward to that event. Let me see. This past Saturday, I had the opportunity to go out to the Kingston teaching farm. Was glad to kind of get my hands dirty in the garden. In preparation for an event that we're going to be having in August. Councilor Smitherman said she bought us some collard greens. We're actually going to have us a collard green cook-off coming up soon. So might have to see if we can get you entered in. See what you're talking about. Right. But yeah, so just wanted to, say thank you to Lakeela Lowe for the work that she's doing over in that area in managing that garden and really getting more residents involved as well. Let me see, the Community Development Committee will be meeting tomorrow in council chambers at 2 p.m. Tomorrow will be a Wednesday, of course, but that will be the last Wednesday that the Community Development Committee will meet. Moving forward, we will meet on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 2 p.m. Because we'll be switching our times. The Park and Recreation Board will also meet at Legion Field at 9 a.m. on tomorrow. Let me see, and they also have some different events that are going on as well, and so want to make sure that we highlight those. We have the Park and Recreation Day that will happen Friday, July 19th at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Short 20th Street in front of City Hall. It'll be food trucks, games, vendors, workouts. Come out, have a good time. So make sure you don't miss that. And then we also want to make sure that you have an opportunity to participate in the Be Driven Fitness or the Magic City Boot Camp, that's being presented by Be Driven Fitness. It takes place July 3rd through August the 1st, every Wednesday and Thursday. The price is $10 a day. It takes place from 6:45 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. Register now at the Be Driven Fitness app. It says that you can come join us for a session and see the amazing results for yourself. Let's get fit together. So make sure you check that out. And then last but not least, I just wanted to give a shout out to Miss Abra Barnes. The Birmingham Business Journal unveiled its 2024 top Birmingham women of, and it's, let me start over. I'm reading too fast, man. The Birmingham Business Journal unveiled its 2024 top Birmingham women, and HABD Board Commissioner Abra Barnes is an honoree. The prestigious recognition highlights established women leaders in our community who are making a positive impact. And just want to tell her that we're proud of her for the work that she's doing. It's definitely well deserved. And that concludes my announcements.
All right, thank you. Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. In District 8, the Graymont neighborhood will meet tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon at 4:30 in the Smithfield Library. Also, just to kind of piggyback on what Councilor Abbott said about the ZAC meeting taking up some ordinance amendments for the short-term rentals, or Airbnb as we often call it. If you want to provide comments, but you can't come to the ZAC meeting. You can bring your comments to City Hall, room 210, or you may email them to Kimberly Spurl, and there's a little, her last name is Kimberly, well, it's Kimberly.Spurl, SPEORL, at birminghamal.gov. Also want to just announce that Create Birmingham is hiring 2 part-time contract positions, an education coordinator and a gallery manager. And these positions will work with the upcoming exhibition called In Our Own Backyard, a celebration of Joe Mentor. And, you know, I know he's a fixture in District 6, but he moves around. So you've probably seen him. He's the man in front of the courthouse with the signs. Or if you've been near the Heritage Town Center, he's got some messages strewn about. But anyway, he's a very prolific outsider artist who has a lot of renown. And I know code enforcement gets a little testy with him, but he really is a treasure. And I believe Navigate is also a part of sponsoring this exhibition. Will it be at Mark Steele? Okay, at Mark Steele in District 6 in Titusville. It'll feature 20 to 30 of his pieces. But anyway, for more information on these jobs and the exhibition, you can go to createbirmingham.org. If you're interested in watching a Disney favorite at the Birmingham Museum of Art, you can join them on Saturday, July 27th from 12 to 2 p.m. for a free screening of the 2014 film Into the Woods. It'll take place in the auditorium, and afterwards, attendees can get creative with take-home art kits inspired by the film's fantastical elements. It's perfect for kids, and this event is a fun blend of storytelling and art. And it's a great way to spend the hottest part of the day. It is Election Day in Birmingham for House District 52. Please exercise your right to vote today. There is a place you can go if you're unsure you're in House District 52, but I'm not really sure what that place is online. If you're looking for a fun way to get active and meet your neighbors, you can join us every Thursday morning for a walk around the Crossplex. It is getting pretty hot. We're thinking about changing our location and getting on a trail nearby that's shaded, like the High Ore line, picking it up in Midfield. I think we can walk in the shade. So we'll be exploring some shadier locations, but for now, we're meeting at the Starbucks at Crossplex on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Yeah, you got some cooler weather coming later this week, but you may need a raincoat. Council Moore, you had something additional?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget this. So wanted to share with the public that there will be movies at Woodlawn Theater tomorrow, July 17th. Tomorrow they're supposed to be watching Cars at 2 p.m. And at 4:30 p.m. they'll have Home Alone. So if you want to make sure that you check it out, or if you have not been to the Woodlawn Theater, it's a really cool venue space. So I encourage everybody to go and check it out. And then lastly, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Tracy Muhammad. He had an event this weekend called Born Kings, an evening of one love, brotherhood, bonding, and betterment. And, you know, really took the time to just have a group of men that came out to just honor them for all the things that they're doing in the community. It was a beautiful event. It was at the Epic Center event space. In District 8, with Miss V and Ed, and they have an amazing event space. And so it was just a wonderful night. So I wanted to give a big shout out to him for what he's doing in the community.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Smitherman. You had something.
Yes, I was corrected by my staff member that 5 Point South is actually meeting on July 30th, not today. Thank you.
All right. In District 5, Central City Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at 6 p.m. at the Downtown Central Library. Southeast Lake Neighborhood Association will meet next Monday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. at the East Lake United Methodist Church. As Councilor Abbott already mentioned, there is a zoning advisory committee meeting this evening at 6 p.m. where they'll be taking up deliberation of the proposed short-term rental ordinance. And apparently they'll also be taking public comment as well. So the next Transportation Committee meeting will take place Monday, July 22nd at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. Items can be submitted to the agenda by contacting kimberly.phillips@birminghamal.gov. The East Lake Farmers Market is operating and takes place every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon at East Lake United Methodist Church at 7753 First Avenue South, and that runs until October 12th. If you can't make it to East Lake, there's also the farmers market at Pepper Place. That's every Saturday morning, rain or shine, from 7 a.m. to noon, and that runs until December 14th. And I just got to say, like, if you're going to do a collard green cook-off, you have to have a cornbread competition to go with it too. And you know, there were several years where I worked at UAB. I was in an office right down the street from the VA, and I could go to the VA and get collard greens and cornbread, which is a complete meal because there's enough pork chow in the collard greens to meet your RDA for protein. So, and I think it was about, at the time, you know, this is ancient history, but it was I think it was under $5. But anyway, looking forward to that, but just got to throw in, you know, like cornbread has got to be part of the equation too. So
I'll
just
bring
lobby.
the cornbread then.
All right, I am headed to Mom and them tomorrow for lunch. Really looking forward to it. Tomorrow happens to be my birthday, so that's how I'm going to be celebrating. So it's all right. It's all right. Another year older, so I'm good with it. And I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda. Councilor Williams, do you want to do the honors?
Motion.
We got speakers. We got
Yeah, I'm sorry. Before we get to our speakers, I want to recognize our officers on duty. We have Cedric Pinkard here with us from City Hall. We have Officer Moore and Officer Jackson from West Precinct. And at this time, Mr. Clerk, we'll hear from our public speakers.
Patricia Daly. Ms. Daly.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm Patricia Ann Daly. I live at 1746 Indian Summer Drive, Birmingham 35215. I'm here this morning to address the horrible crime that happened at my front door at Echo Highland Park. As a homeowner, I am outraged. I was in Atlanta at my granddaughter's graduation party, and I got a call from my president and a clip sent to me, and I saw police officers all over my yard, our road taped off, and a car in my neighbor's yard. I'm very upset about that. Ms. Abbott, Councilman Abbott, as you know, I've been coming before the city council a long time. I came before you as Ms. Robinson. I have been fighting for safety in our neighborhood since 1993. That's when I moved there. I built my house. I have spoke to every mayor here at the city that has been in office about keeping my neighbors safe. I have spoke to y'all about the problems that I was having at Echo Highland Park. It's not the park that's the problem. It's just that the police officers are not patrolling the park. And this is why this happened. I have found out from several police officers that worked in our district, and when they retired, they said that it's been like several weeks that we didn't even have a police officer to patrol our neighborhood. Now, I'm very, very outraged with that. We got 2,500 houses in our subdivision, but yet and still, you're gonna take our police officer car and put it in Eastlake and Woodlawn and leave our neighborhood unprotected, and this is what has happened. There was no reason for this incident to happen because 4th of July, I was waking up out of my sleep by gunshots. And I ran to my bedroom window, I looked out, I saw SUV speeding off. I immediately called my neighbor and asked him, I said, did you hear those gunshots? He said, well, I heard it 45 minutes ago, but I'm not at home right now. 15 minutes later, somebody else come up in the park, gunshots. Called the police department to patrol. I stood in my window 35 minutes, no police officer. No report made of this incident. I called and asked for extra patrol. No extra patrol. And I have a problem with that. I have got out in my yard at 7 o'clock in the morning and came in at 1:30. No patrol. Now, if I can see that, what you think the drug dealers see? Well, hey, this is a safe place to come hand off drugs. I have been sitting, last year I was sitting on my front porch talking to my neighbor, and a carload of white guys came up and guy came out of the park and they exchanged drugs right there in front of my face. I said, y'all got to get the heck on. Call the police officers. We need a solution. The solution is not barricading our neighborhoods where you cannot get to the neighbors, the homeowners that are paying taxes. Solution is we need to make sure our first responders have top pay and boost their morale. We need to make sure that this does not happen again. I fought too many years to keep my neighbors safe for this to happen. I am so outraged. I could not even sleep Sunday night when I came in from Atlanta. And then to top it all off, after this happened, you think that the police officer would have been vigilant in that park? I looked out my window Monday morning at 5 o'clock, a car in the park. There have been nights where I have come home and I've seen this white car out there, and I'm thinking that maybe he left the car and rode off with some buddies. I wake up in the morning and the white car is out there. I go over there and pick up paper in the park, and the window rolled down. Scared me half to death, and he watched me out in the yard. Something has got to give.
Thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Oliver Okoye.
Good morning, council members. 1000 Beacon Parkway East, Glen Iris, Ms. Abbott. I'm here in support of the ceasefire resolution for Gaza. This resolution matters on a personal and public level as Gaza continues to be harmed by Israel and the genocide continues to be funded by our taxes. Yes, so it's
And Ms. Oakland, just to make sure you're aware, the resolution was on the council agenda, item 12, and it passed this morning.
okay. Yeah. If you want me to sit down, I'd be more than willing to.
It's up to you. You still have time left.
But yeah, just to put the importance, there have been massacres in Gaza as recent as the weekend. A school and makeshift mosque were bombed. Bodies of children littering the ground and screams of parents crying out. As of March 2024, over 100 cities have passed ceasefire resolution with our city's history of social progress. Shouldn't we join in into and whatnot? That's the end of it. But yeah, we were not made aware that it was going to be on the agenda. But yes, thank you for it, and thank you for being in support of it. Thank you kindly.
Okay. Next speaker, please.
Smith.
Good morning, Council. Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name's Tammy Smith. I live at 1708 33rd Avenue North. And with that said, I live off 33rd Avenue North, which is a block from the homicide that was off 32nd Street. And one of the biggest problems we have on that side of town is the lighting. There's no lighting. The freeways have been dark for a long time, and even the neighborhoods. And I live about a half a mile from the massive shooting of where the 4 people died. And even there, the biggest problem we have is lighting. We know you all don't create the problem, but we just would love to see you be a part of the solution. I mean, we don't know why we don't get lighting in our areas, but we do need lighting. The freeway's been dark for a long time, but it's surely not stopping them from repaving it. They repaving it literally overnight. And even in where they're repaving it, it's very dark. So it would be nice if you all, the mayor, the council, commissioner, can be instrumental in us getting some lighting. It's dark from Woodlawn all the way to Fortendale. And they've been telling this story, people stealing copper. So what they do, stop at the Woodlawn, at Fortendale city limits, because it's really dark. And at night, you can't see nothing. That shooting happened, and even the police had to come the next morning to investigate the area because it's so dark, they couldn't see anything. But we got a bad crime problem over in our area, and it have really gotten worse since this new gun law. So it would be nice if we can maybe get some lighting in our areas, because we don't get improvements in our area, and we get talk of barricades. Barricades is not that great, because especially when you're a school bus driver. So it's not that friendly when it comes to us having to maneuver a bus in a barricade. So, you don't hear that part of the talk where you don't know it's there. You got to go turn around a bus that holds 60 people on it. So it's got to be a solution. And I feel like our areas are so underserved in 35207, and it's been underserved. We do get no improvement. And I think we need policing, not barricade. We need police, not an amphitheater. Pay them more, bring them on, because you can't expect them to work for what they paying kids to flip hamburgers to do. It's not going to happen. So something got to be did by our policing around here. I think Birmingham is beautiful. The crime is tearing up our neighborhood. I know that place wasn't even supposed to be operating. I was there to repass 2 weeks before at the same spot, a repass. So being that you live so close to all this stuff going on, whatever's going to happen and whatever you all or whoever putting things in place, it's not working. We got to do something different. Because even with all the killing's not happening at these houses. They're doing the killing in the street. So if they're doing the killing in the street, it ain't the drug houses, then there's something that's causing them to go after them in the street. So that means something got to be did beforehand. We can tell all we want. We know they're around, these drug dealers around, but they seem to be doing all their killing and targeting in the streets. And people that's done nothing is getting caught up in this chaos. So I say to you, I plead to you, we got to do something different. I mean, as a community, because it's our problem. It's not just the council, it's not the mayor, it's everybody's problem. Then we got to come together. So I didn't come to point blame. All I'm saying is that something got to change to make this a better place for us and everybody that come to it. And one more thing, I want to give a shout out to one of your colleagues, Mr. Kevin Dasher. I was at a meeting this past weekend, the debate. That's one of the best debates I ever went to. And if he taken to Montgomery where he displayed it at the debate, then I think he'd be fitting for the job. Thank you.
Great. I did want to offer comment on the lighting situation. So Councilor Tate has requested me to get an update on that. So at the August Committee of the Whole meeting, we would do it tomorrow, but BDOT hasn't had time to prepare. But for the August Committee of the Whole meeting, we'll be requesting an update from the mayor's office and BDOT on the interstate lighting situation. I will just offer as a comment, it's not a city of Birmingham problem. It's not specific to us. Pretty much any municipality that has a freeway running through it, locally, nationally, they have the same issues. Locally, I know it because I drive through other municipalities, and their lights are out too for the same reasons. So, and then, just to comment on the pay for police officers. So starting pay for a City of Birmingham police officer is $50,000. That does not account for opportunities for overtime. So, and there is an abundance of overtime available. So, just want to, make that clear. And then we have one more speaker, Mr. Willie Jenkins.
Mr. President, as Mr. Jenkins is coming up, it is important for people to know that the City of Birmingham street lighting is placed at intersections of streets and intersections of alleys with streets. We don't just put them all over the place. They're at intersections because they're for traffic safety. And some people don't know that and request them to be put in other places. So, just a tidbit.
Mr. Jenkins.
Okay, the City Council just want to let y'all know that we lost a great loss. One of our men of praise, Johnny F. Jefferson. And I just want to let y'all know one of our guys died, went home, and Johnny Jefferson went home and had to go to the hospital, and they took him to the hospital, went home and fell dead. And they're going to have his funeral at St. Luke, AME, 3112, Newcastle Road, Footendale. It's going to be at 1 o'clock. It said it was 11, but it changed to 1. But I just want y'all to pray for one of our guys. He just took me home Sunday night. And he just got a new car, and he sang with the Men of Praise for many years. And I just want y'all to know, if you all get a chance to come, it's going to be 1 o'clock tomorrow at St. Luke, AME, 3112, Newcastle Road, and Footendale. And also the Men of Praise, we finna do a concert, Men of Day, on the Men of Praise. Will be at Mount Olive Baptist Church over there in Kingston, 4541 9th Terry North, on the 4th Sunday at 2 o'clock, and we will be sharp too. Men of Praise will be sharp. Y'all sing baritone. And so we're going to be getting down. So I would like to invite all of y'all to come. Also, they still going to give me appreciation to the City Council. I'm still going to email y'all, let y'all know when it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to be, but you will let y'all know when it's going to be, And I just want to let you know. And then also, that'll be on the 4th Sunday at July the 28th. And another lady, we call her Helen, she sang gospel. And she passed away, a friend of mine. And she been around a long time. And they had her film over there at Bishop Salinger Church. And she had cancer, a young lady I've been knowing for years. And that's all I like to say. I like to say, and we're getting ready for the reunion, y'all. The Carver High School picnic coming up, council. First Saturday in October in North Birmingham Park. Can't wait excited to the picnic. October the first week in October in North Birmingham Park. We're getting ready for the North Birmingham picnic. Robert Gavin is our president. It's the picnic first Saturday in October. We're going to do a lot of things for the picnic. So we're getting ready for our annual picnic. So we're looking for a big crowd for our big day, tent set up. All y'all invited to North Birmingham the first Saturday in October. And that's all I like to say. I did go to the Miller Sing. Y'all have heard of the Miller Sing, quite sure. They had their anniversary Sunday, and they really sung. And like I said, we sang too, Men of Praise. We've been going around a long time. But I want y'all really serious to pray for one that I lost. O.J. Great got his body, Johnny Evans, his body up there in Birmingham, Miss Wanda Alexander. And so y'all get a chance, try to see, y'all try to come to support us, And so we're going to sing, the Lord will be with us. We're going to be strong and try to work in the Lord. He gone, but we got to keep on singing on. He gone. His spirit was still, he sung with us. But I just want to let you know, we still sing. We still going to go on the name of the Lord and sing God's work. We got to do it. We done lost one night. Not lost, we lost a lot of our men of praise. Not only us, but a whole bunch of them we done lost.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins.
Okay.
Counselor Tate.
Mr. Jenkins, Johnny Etheridge is my first cousin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, we're first cousins.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Hatchard.
Hatchet.
So Mr. Philip Hatchard and Treese and Bernard, those are my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
We are two siblings kids.
Favorite kid. Okay.
Yep, so we praying for y'all.
Okay.
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay, baby.
All right, Council Williams. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
This is Crystal Smithman, Birmingham City Councilor for District 6. We're out here at our July Farmers Market, some nectarines, bananas. I also got some collard greens out here in Maddie's Garden. So this was a very successful day. It's warm, but we have shaved ice to cool you down. So our next one, our last one is August 10th, right out here at 1:30. It's also Titusville Day. We'll have free watermelon, free ice cream, and free popcorn. So we hope to see you next month, and thank you all who came this month.